Okay. Hi everyone. So I have no idea who is there or who is listening to me. And I have no idea what's the reaction gonna be because I don't get to see you. So I'm Chip. Most of you might or might not know me as a writer, but I work in tech now. I'm on the AI application team at NVIDIA. In case you don't know what NVIDIA is basically the leading manufacturer of high performance computers. So the hardware you use for machine learning. So today, I'm gonna give this talk about career in AI. This is the one. Cool. I guess you cannot see it. Let me see. Let me try again. Cool. Okay, so I think let me see. So I think we try to go over a few points. So first is that why should you work in AI? The second is that who can work in AI, and the next is that if you want to work in AI, what should you study? How should you prepare for it? And the last is that how to get a job in AI. So I think like if you're attending this conference, there's no need to convince you why AI is important. But AI is basically essential right now. You can see AI in everything. A lot of I hate to cite this hype, but Andrew Ng, who used to be the lead researcher at Baidu and who was a founding member of Google AI, says it's like AI is a new electricity. It is that important. A lot of countries such as France, Canada, investing a lot of money into AI. France recently announced that they're going to invest $1.8 billion into AI. A lot of companies like Google, Uber are switching to be AI first, which means that AI is leading their technology. So the second reason is that like jobs in AI are pretty well paid. Recently, the New York Times has this article, a bit controversial. What they say is that they claim that PhDs fresh out of school earn between $300 to $500,000 a year. And Indeed, which is a it's a job service, listed like the highest paid jobs every year, and machine learning jobs are constantly among top 10. And the next is that like it's almost borderless. Like it doesn't matter where you go to school, where you live, or where you come from. If you're good, you can get a job in AI. And let's take the example like Chiu Ching. He is also a member. He's also involved in with AI. He got a job at Google AI after finishing college in Vietnam. Um, you can also take a lot of courses online, like Coursera, EduX, Udacity. There's so many good courses that you can take from the comfort of your home, whether in Vietnam, in Africa. And the thing about AI is that a lot of resources are open source. Like all the papers are put on archive, all the code can be put on GitHub, so you can just like if you're curious about something, you can always find online. So the thing is that I have no idea if you guys hear me well. I'm not sure if do or somebody can tell me that everything's going fine because I feel like I'm just talking to the void right now. Yes, I'm just gonna continue. This is such a weird experience. Okay. So I hope that I have convinced you. Why work in AI? And there's this stereotype about only like genius hackers can work in AI. They have to be really good at something. But it's true is that like AI is just a tool. It's a tool that you can use it to solve any problems you're interested in. As an example, I'm gonna show you these are few of the people that I really admire. And they come from a background. Like Christopher Manning, he was my professor at Stanford, and he's basically like one of the most influential people in natural language processing. His background is in linguistics. So David Ha, he's leading the Google AI lab in Tokyo. He used to be an investment banker at JP Morgan. Christine Payne, she was a musician. She played for San Francisco Symphony, and now she's OpenAI. So it doesn't matter whether you're interested in game design, whether you're interested in writing, you're interested in like anything. I'm sure you can find. You can use AI to like solve the problems you care about. So a question that a lot of people ask me is like, how to get into AI? Like, what should I study? And the first thing I tell them is like, you need math. AI is a lot of it is math. A lot of it is just matrix multiplication. So first of all, you need to learn algebra so that you can know matrix multiplication. You need to do calculus so you can do gradient. And also you need probability. So when you build a model to predict something, it doesn't just like tell you what is the best. Usually it outputs a distribution of the possible outcome, of probable outcomes, and you look at like, oh, so which outcome is the most probable? So yeah, so you need to do like, you need to know probability. A good thing is that I noticed that the Vietnam education system puts a lot of emphasis on math. So I usually see that Vietnamese students are really good at math, and when it comes to AI, Vietnamese have an edge compared to students from, say, the US or like Switzerland. The next thing is you need to know some coding because you need to implement model. One good thing is that most people in machine learning right now are using Python, which is a really easy language to pick up. If you want to be a little bit more hardcore, you can do C++. There's also a huge demand for people who can code well in C++. And you need to know some frameworks that will help you implement models easier, which is like TensorFlow or PyTorch. You should also practice implementing models from like simple to complex. You can do something like a linear regression model. You can start with a linear regression model, and then you can progress to maybe like a recurrent neural network, or like a GAN, as in like generative adversarial network. So you know both a theoretical aspect, you know both a practical aspect. Now you need to keep up to date. AI is moving incredibly fast. There are like just so many things happening. So you need to like keep up to date with what is going on without getting overwhelmed. Sorry, I'm just like getting feedback from Ling to see whether the audio is good. So to keep up to date, I usually use Twitter. So I follow certain people that I think they are doing a good job in the field, and they usually like have good discussions. So I just follow them and see what they are talking about. If you don't know who to follow on Twitter, you can go to my Twitter and see who I follow, because most of I follow are in AI, and it's just like after a while you can figure out like who is really like a good person like to follow. Another is like archive. In AI, people don't publish in journals anymore because journals are too slow, and people want the results out there quick, so they put the paper on archive. So you can go through archive and basically see like on the latest paper like for free. And another resource I find really good is Reddit. You don't just go to any Reddit memes. So there's a subreddit like r/machine learning that has a really good discussion on the new progress people are making in AI. Okay, so of course, like what you should learn depends on the role you want to get. So there are usually like 3 different kinds of roles in AI. So first is researcher, which means you build new model. So to do that, you need to have really good theoretical understanding of math. So for researcher role, you will need a lot more math. I have known a lot of researchers who are not really good coder, and they can get away with it because they are good with theory. So another role is a research engineer. It's very popular with Google AI or Facebook or like basically any AI lab. They're like engineers who help researchers build models. So you need to understand math to know what the model is about, but you also like need to have really good coding skills so you can like turn this model into reality. Another type is application engineer. So like you don't really deal with research, but you build you take the research and try to bring it into production, to bring it to end user. So you need to know how to scale a model. You need to know how to like do inference, but less math, but more coding. Okay, so next is to my favorite topic, how to get a job. I think when I get to Vietnam, I get the questions a lot, like how's the job, to get an apartment, when you're getting married and stuff like that. I hope you can relate. I don't want you to force impression that like AI is so hot, it's so easy to get a job. Everyone should go into AI because you can make shit ton of money. No, it's not that. Like AI job market is fiercely competitive. The reason is that like everyone is trying to get into AI, and there's just not that many jobs. And also like this estimation by like Element AI, they said like only about like they have like millions of people taking AI courses, but there are only about like 10,000 people actually know what's going on. So if you don't want to be just like one of those million people who just take courses and not understanding the importance, like the significance of like of things you're learning. I have chatted with a lot of recruiters from like with Google or like even with my company in NVIDIA, and they told me that out of all resumes, only 1% of the resume received get to the interview process, and out of all the people they interview, only 5% get a job offer. So it means that if you get 10,000 resumes, maybe 100 of them will get interviewed, and about like out of those 100 people, maybe 5% eventually get a job. It's like it's 5 job offers out of 10,000. It's just like really, really insane. The interview process, you guys are pretty familiar with it, but I'm just gonna go over it anyway. Varies company to company, but it's usually like it follows the same skeleton. So the first screen, when the recruiter or some team member is calling up and say, hey, that should get to know you, what should get to know whether the background is going to be potential fit for the team, whether their interest aligns with the company's interest. And after the phone screen, you're okay, you're not a psychopath, it's going to move you to like coding challenges or interview. It's really done online. So yeah, so like CodePad or something, so they'll give you some problems and you have to like do live coding to solve the problems. So next, like after you pass on this, you can go to an on-site interviews, which means like the companies will bring you to the office, and you have a day-long interviews with like everyone. So it can consist of like anywhere from 4 to 8 interviews. When I interview Google, I had like 10 interviews. It's a really long process. And after all that, we have a hiring committee gonna meet and decide whether you like pass on the requirement to get a job. So yep, but don't fret. It's actually doable to get a job in AI. So there are a few tips. So the first thing, you have to make the resume stand out. Like given the insane amount of resumes that every company receives, if you just have a normal resume, like you finish school, you just all the coursework, you're not gonna stand out. So I can speak from my experience. Recently I helped my team because our team is very new, so we are recruiting a lot. And I got a lot of resumes. I got like hundreds of resumes, and I got a lot of resumes from really good school like Stanford, Harvard, MIT. Oh, these people just like they didn't do anything outside coursework, and we just like discard as a resume, even though they went to really good school. So how do you make yourself stand out? Like you have to go. What my manager said is you have to go above and beyond. You have to be. You have to show the pattern what you are asked. So first you can do like cool projects. I've seen people doing really cool projects, as in like one thing I do is like as in like how to detect whether somebody is drunk for the text messages. Or my friends and I did something in college which got pretty popular, was that like based on people interaction on Twitter, we can detect echo chambers. So people with the same political affiliations. So we can predict with pretty high accuracy just from somebody tweeting that whether the person will be Trump supporter or not. Yeah, but like doing things is not enough. Like if you don't publish what you've done, there's no reason to know what you have done. So you can publish like through blogs. I love technical blogs. So like when somebody write a technical in-depth blog post, it not only shows that you understand, you know what's going on, you understand concept. It shows that you have good communication skill to be able to explain the concept. And communication skill is like extremely important getting a job. You can still write like archive papers. You can still just because they have really good. I've seen their code on GitHub and have been so impressed. I reached out to them, like asking whether they'd like a job with my team. So you can also join competitions. I hope you know Kaggle. Kaggle is where they post some certain challenge usually in data science and machine learning, and you can compete. And people who have won Kaggle competitions are usually considered pretty good. Like if I see a candidate, a resume, like winning a big Kaggle competition, I would be pretty down. I would be very interested in interviewing the candidate. A lot of conferences like NIPS on New RIPS now has a competition track where you can just like enter and compete with other people, which is so great. Even so, hackathons or like compete in public benchmarks. Another way is that you should contribute to open source project. So even good, and my friend got a job offer because he contributed to a TensorFlow project. I also did some open source projects, and this guy who committed a really detailed, a very meaningful contribution. It was like, wow, he actually really knows, he has really good coding discipline. So actually also again reached out to him. So second step is you have to prepare for technical interviews. Like you can be really good, but if you are not prepared, like you're not gonna be able to show how good you are. So technical interview is just like any other test. Like if you take SAT or GRE, you pretty have to prepare for it. So the same, like if you do a so like if you go to technical interviews, you should probably prepare for it too. And it's a very long process to prepare. It should take at least a month. So you not only have to prepare for the like normal software engineering questions, you can check out the book like cracking the coding interview. You should also like stock upon the machine learning exercise, because the recruiter might, or like the team might ask you to implement machine learning models. You also need to have the theoretical understanding, because we understand like, oh, you say that, oh, you have worked with convolutional neural network before. We probably ask you to explain in detail, like what does it mean, why you do that. So you need to understand like everything that you did. And it's a long process. Again, like it's a big time commitment. You can just show up and expect to get through it. You might actually, if you're a genius, maybe, but maybe like only 1% of people are that good. Okay, so the next thing is do internships. Internships are like extremely important, and so I think recent years is that more and more Vietnamese students are doing like meaningful internships. But in the US, it's pretty standard. At Stanford, when I went to school, like almost everyone did internship. It's very rare to see students not doing internship for a summer. So internships help you like understand what you want. You might think that you want to work in AI, but then what if you start working and realize that you don't like it? So internships help you understand what you are getting yourself into. It can also help you understand and compare different companies to see which one suits you the best. And different companies have a huge different culture. Like NVIDIA and Google and Facebook all have very different cultures, and you might like one company more than the other. And also, an important thing is that internship to full-time conversion is much easier than getting a full-time offer. Like internship interviews are like 3 times easier than a full-time interview. So what you can do is that you get an internship, and then you do one internship, and then you get a returning offer for a full-time job at the same company. So it's easy, much easier. So NVIDIA, our main pipeline for new graduate candidate is through internships. So we highlight mostly from people who have done internships with us. Okay, and some tip, get referrals. So because there's so many people applying for jobs, getting referred by someone in the company will help move the resumes like to the top. So it might be easier for you to get an interview. It's not gonna get you a job if you're not good, but it will help you get a foot through the door. On the online profile, so it's pretty standard for recruiter nowadays to get a resume and do a quick check on your life. You shouldn't have any drunken photos. You shouldn't make some like racist and sexist remarks. You should not bully people online, because people would find out. Another tip is that like a lot of people, when they do coding interviews, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do Python, before even knowing what's the problems that the recruiter wants them to solve. So one tip is that like you always hear the question first, ask on the clarification about the problem before deciding what language would be the best to solve that problem. And yeah, another thing is the last one is to be honest. Like you should not pretend to know things that you don't know. So when I interview people, like one red flag I have is like when people just throw things like, oh, you use BERT, you use like transformer, and then I ask them, okay, so how do you do that? And they're like, I actually don't know. I just heard it somewhere. Like, then why didn't you bring it up? So don't, if you don't know something, just don't pretend and don't speak like you have done it before. Okay, that's all. So if you have questions, shoot me an email. This is my email. I also have this blog, huyenchi.com/blog. So I have like some posts that might be relevant to you, such as career advice for recent computer science graduates, survival's guide to AI courses at Stanford, but is like also applicable to other courses elsewhere. Okay, that's all. Thanks. Have a good day. I wish I could see you.